So here we are with our garden centre again, and it's time to format it and make it a little bit more presentable, I think, for ourselves. Because if you can see here, there's parts missing here off words, there's other words bleeding over into new cells. There's, you've missed a bit of August and September is jumping across. The garden centre sales is kind of bleeding from one to the other, and the reason for that is if there is something in the next cell along, it'll cut it off. If there's nothing in the next cell along, it'll bleed over. So the first thing we want to do is make it a little bit nicer to look, or easier to look at. So to do that, down at the bottom here you have a slider bar which will make your work bigger or smaller. Now you can zoom in or zoom out, or you can grab the bar itself and zoom in or zoom out. I find that there's a little bit more control over it if you just tap on the plus or the minus. It seems to be that little bit easier. And then to get your whole thing back into frame, do you see at the side here you have slider bars again? That will bring it up, and this one here will bring it over or back. So what we want to do is we want to be able to make these all visible, okay, that we can see them all. And the handiest way to do that, if I click on this triangle here in the corner, to see the way my cursor is after changing colour, click on that, and that highlights the whole entire sheet from top to bottom, side to side. And I am going to now double click here, and now I can see everything. So when I highlight any cell, then that'll disappear. So I can see everything going down, I can see everything going across, and that's nice, much better. Now my garden centre sales heading seems to be a little bit small, I think maybe. So I'm going to make that a bit bigger. Everything is at 11 pixels at the moment, or font size of 11. So I want to move it up. I'm going to make this 60, which is fine. And again, I'm going to want to bring that back into the picture. So I'm just going to move that in. Now my item then, all of these are nice and full. Now I want to highlight just this column. So I'm going to make sure that my little cursor is, or my little cross is white. And I'm highlighting my cell that I'm sitting in just by tapping it. Left click, and I'm dragging it up. Alright, so that's highlighting everything. And I want this green, and I want to do the whole background in green. So I am going to, actually I'm not going to do the whole background in green. I want to leave my totals and averages and all that in different colour for now. So click and drag up, and then you've got, we're going to do them green anyway, so we have, you can pick your various different shades of green. So I'm going to do that, and actually I will bring it all the way down. So if I want to change that and autofill all the way down, all I have to do is hover over the bottom right hand corner and I can drag it down. Alright, so it does that for me automatically. Now this one here, I want to do it a little bit darker. So I am going to go drop down a colour, and then across April, May and June I want to do another shade of green, and I'm going to keep that dark as well. And again I'm going to drag it across. Now for these, because this is highlighted, I can do these bold, or I can do my garden centre sales bold, either or not. I can make them italic. Don't forget, italic is much more difficult to read when you're at it for a long time. You can even change your font then to different styles. I'm going to highlight these over here, maybe September, and because it'll be easier to see. So I can make it Algerian. I'll actually put one, I'll write one in here altogether, because because otherwise my drop down is going to come in on top of it. So Calibri Body, I find it, for me, it's one of the easiest to read. Highlight your font. So I can make that change. You see the way it's changing over there to various different fonts. Now this is grand if you're printing out a price list or something like that and you want it to be a particular theme, or you want to highlight different things in various different ways. They're fine. Now the ones here that are not changing, they're in cloud still, so you'd have to download those onto your laptop, and you'll get them then. So you choose which one you want. I'm going to stick with Calibri Body because it's just easier on the eyes when you're looking at it for a long time anyway, which is what's there anyway. So the next thing then is we can change our text to different colors. So text, and I'm going to make this a little bit bolder. I'm also making it a little bit bigger just so that you can see it easier. Alright, that's the cell that it's in. Now, and so I can make it any colour I want to, or if I wanted a particular colour, so all I have to do is hover over whichever colour lights up which I want. I can leave it black. I can use standard colours, which would be the most used colours. They're fairly primary colours, these ones here, so they generally stand out. Yellows don't stand out ever. It's not a good idea to put yellow on paper unless you particularly don't want it to stand out. We had used this colour there last week, so it is still saying the recent colours. So down here, if none of those colours suit, I have more colours, and you have these fellas here which I can pick all the different colours. It's telling me that the current one is black, and it's asking me, do I want to change this from black to pink, from black to this. Now these little hexagons are nice and big, so you can pretty much see the colour there. But if I wanted to custom design my colour, alright, this is the fella in here. So you have a custom tab or a standard tab. So custom is here, and so you can pick a colour off these, off any one of them, and then you can go along and say, this is a red, green, blue, okay, colour. And this is actually the colour code down here. If you know the colour code that you actually want to use, you can put in your colour code there. Colour codes always start with a hashtag. So you can increase the amount of blue in it, and you can see the colour code changing to match. You can decrease certain hues inside it, or you can increase, say, the red in it there as well. And you probably can't really see it all that well, but it is actually changing the hue altogether. Now on this fella here, you can make it darker, so you left click and drag your little arrow down. You definitely can see that changing now much faster, and you can see the numbers changing an awful lot as well on the left hand side. So that's how you change your colour to whichever colour you actually want. And say we're going to leave it at that very shocking pink there, and we can press OK, and our text ends up that colour. So that's how you choose your colour and your type of writing and your background colours. Okay.